I'm standing in front of the cenotaph at Rainy River First Nations. We have 10 First Nations in Thunder Bay Rainy River. Rainy River First Nations is one that has settled its land claims and is providing wonderful leadership to the people who live here, certainly in terms of working towards providing its own power, to building houses, and are really doing a great job. And the cenotaph is perhaps a good example of the kind of work that this First Nations is doing. I'm standing beside just a small plaque here that is honoring the modern-day veterans who are from First Nations. You'll notice, if you can look a little closer, some also fought because of our proximity, fought for the American Army or the Marines. And so there's a very, very proud tradition here of Anishinaabe warriors, and this is a fitting tribute to their legacy. Okay, I'm standing on Emo's waterfront. Emo is a community, sort of a hub for a whole lot of people who don't live in Fort Frances. I think we're looking at about 1,200 people here in Emo, but maybe about 3,000 if we include the whole area around. They've really made a real attempt over the years to keep their beautiful waterfront. You can see as we look upriver on the Rainy River how gorgeous it is. They've fixed up the waterfronts and paths, and it's a lovely downtown running right across the waterfront here. It is a hub. There's some major retailers. There's a hospital, a seniors home, and so on. So it's a wonderful place. A lot of people depend on Emo to do their business, their daily business. And it's also, I guess, with the new abattoir, it's sort of the beef center too. You know, when I talk about farmers in the west end of my riding, I'm not just talking about grain farmers. In fact, there are a lot of beef farmers in this area, and so the new abattoir, of course, is a welcome addition to Emo. We're going to head on down the road. Stay with us as we head towards Fort Frances. I'm standing in front of the Devlin store in Devlin. It's the last community just before we get to Fort Frances. I'm standing in front of the gas pump, of course, with HST added under the gas. And what is Devlin noted for? Well, it's noted for well, Pam Kane is from here. So how about that? That's a good thing. There's a bit of an artist community happening, and it's a hub for people who are heading north into Nakatchewinan First Nation and heading into the north arm of Rainy Lake. There's some cottages there, some resorts, and there's fabulous fishing. So we're on to Fort Frances. Well, welcome to Fort Frances, and this is Fort Frances, the beautiful waterfront in Fort Frances. Cam, if you sort of pan directly through me over the back, you can see the Chevron wood yards. That's where the wood is stored that's going to the mill, and pan over to your left there, Cam, and you'll see that this is part of the beautiful waterfront of Fort Frances. It's right on the Rainy River, and you can see in the distance there, you can see the Fort Frances Mill, the Abitibi Bowater Mill. And Cam, if you keep panning a little more to the left, you can see the U.S. side. That's northern Minnesota there. And directly across from us here at the tower is U.S. Customs, people arriving by boat. And if you keep making the circle all the way around there, Cam, we'll look up the Rainy River. Just around that point, up ahead, it opens up into beautiful Rainy Lake, which is really one of the gems of northwestern Ontario, and I would argue certainly one of the gems of Canada in terms of recreational opportunities, recreational properties. We're looking at about 9,000 people here in Fort Frances, so it is the hub. It's been built on wood, and continues to be an important part of what makes Fort Frances tick. But it is like all the rest of these communities in the west end of my riding. They're communities where you don't have to lock your doors, where people feel safe and people feel secure, and everyone knows their neighbors, and people talk to their neighbors, and that's really a nice part about the west end of my riding. I know there are lots of places in Canada just like this, and I guess we should feel very, very proud that can happen. What we're going to do is we're going to leave here, and then we're going to just head into town, into the north end of Fort Frances, and I'll see you there when we do our last video in my backyard. Okay, thanks everybody. Now, just before we started filming, one of our monarch butterfly graduates left a garden. This is my butterfly garden, at least the beginnings of it, and we've been quite successful having monarch caterpillars here and monarch graduates. But one thing I do want to show you is over this way, and you can all help me with this. Okay, now even though I'm in town, we've got a big deer problem in the west end of this riding. Here's an example of last night. This was a mountain ash. It still has a little tag on it. I just planted it a couple weeks ago. The deer found it, and they've pretty well done it in. I don't even know if it can be salvaged, but we'll see. And so I'm very disappointed. So if anybody out there watching has any ideas, and I've heard lots of them, on how to keep deer away, you know what, I'd sure love to hear them. John Rafferty at ndp.ca, or you can send your suggestion to my office or through my Facebook, whichever. If you know how to keep deer out of your backyard, you let me know, because I'm telling you, this was 60 bucks this tree, and now it's destroyed or likely almost completely destroyed. So anyway, listen, thanks for being along on the video tour. We'll do another tour sort of in the east part of the riding. There'll be some videos to post with the World Baseball Championships and a number of other things that we'll be involved in over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching the whole thing. Thanks.